Hi guys, this is our bio project, biodiversity. We got the non-seed plants. First, I want to start off with the learning objectives. We have identified and described the common characteristics of non-seed plants, including their reproductive methods and structural features as well. Also describe differences between major subgroups of non-seed plants, so mosses, ferns, liveworts, and hornworts as well. And also explain the evolutionary significance and ecological importance of non-seed plants and their role in maintaining ecosystems and biodiversity.
So, introduction to early plant evolution. Early land life. Land was lifeless until about 500 million years ago. The first forest appeared around 385 million years ago. As far as plant diversity today, over 290,000 species exist, providing oxygen, food, and habitats. And then as far as plant origins, all plants evolved from water-bound green algae, sharing multicellularity, photosynthesis, and cellulose-based cell walls. And then key adaptations like sporopollenin enabled survival on land. And then all of the earliest plants were avascular and seedless. Distinctive traits of early plants. So as far as key adaptations for land, alternation of generations, walled spores and sporangia, multicellular gametangia and embryos, and then apical meristems for growth and organ formation. Environmental challenges, water scarcity and structural support, and then as far as environmental benefits, unfiltered sunlight, and then abundant CO2. And then seedless plants, as far as like an overview, seedless plants can be broken down into two primary categories: vascular plants, which form the majority of plant species and are categorized by their vascular tissue systems, and non-vascular plants, which are also known as bryophytes, which lack the vascular tissue system. Vascular plants first appeared about 425 million years ago and had well-developed vascular systems, enabling taller growth and greater complexity. Most seedless vascular plants are homosporous, which means producing one type of spore. Vascular plants, they have life cycles dominated by sporophytes, and their vascular tissues, which are categorized by xylem and phloem, transport water, minerals, and nutrients. The vascular tissue allows for tall growth, giving these plants a competitive edge. And then the evolution of these traits eventually led to the formation of the first forest. And vascular plants are classified into two clades, lycophytes and monolophytes.
Lycophytes include club mosses, spike mosses, and crowworts. They typically grow on tropical trees or temperate forest floors, generally have small leaves and club-shaped cones, and once include giant trees but are now represented by about 1,200 species of small plants. Monophytes include ferns, horsetails, and whisk ferns. Ferns have larger megaphylls, leaves, and horizontal stems and produce spores that can disperse far. Ferns are the most widespread seedless vascular plants, thriving in various habitats with more than 12,000 species. Monophytes have also horsetails, which have glossy, gritty stems and are homosporous and release spores that develop into bisexual gametophytes. And they also have whisk ferns, which resemble primitive vascular plants with branching stems and no roots. These plants have small leaf-like outgrowths and develop from underground gametophytes.
Roots evolved in the sporophytes of vascular plants, replacing the rhizoids seen in bryophytes. Roots absorb water and nutrients and anchor the plants, as well as enable taller growth. Evidence suggests roots may have evolved from the lowest portions of stems in ancient vascular plants. And then the dramatic growth of ancient seedless vascular plants during the Devonian and Carboniferous periods significantly impact Earth's climate by reducing CO2 levels and forming coal deposits. These early forests contributed to global cooling and glacier formation, And then today, the use of coal can largely be attributed to these ancient plants. Non-vascular plants, or known as bryophytes, include liverworts, mosses, and hornworts. These plants diverged early in plant evolution and possess unique adaptations. Bryophyte gametophytes dominate their life cycles, forming ground-hugging carpets. They reproduce via spores that develop into gametophytes, which produce gametes in structures called gametangia. Flagellated sperm require water to reach eggs, so bryophytes often inhabit a moist environment. Bryophytes lack true roots, having rhizoids instead, which do not absorb water and minerals. Bryophytes' unique reproductive and structural adaptations have enabled their survival and diversity. They were prominent during the first 100 million years of plant evolution, but vascular plants now dominate landscapes. Liverworts are named for their liver-shaped gametophytes and come in thalloid forms like Marchantia and leafy forms like Plagiochila. And hornworts have long tapered sporophytes that grow up to 5 centimeters high and lack a seta, consisting only of a sporangium that releases spores by splitting open. Their gametophytes grow horizontally and often have multiple sporophytes attached, and hornworts often colonize moist soils first due to a symbiotic relationship with nitrogen-fixing cyanobacteria. And moss gametophytes range from less than 1 millimeter to 60 centimeters in height, usually forming carpets. They reproduce both sexually and asexually, with sporophytes producing a large number of spores. Moss sporophytes are elongated and visible, with features like peristome for gradual spore release. Some mosses have developed conducting tissues similar to vascular plants, allowing them to grow taller. And mosses such as spongium or peat moss play significant ecological roles, such as retaining nitrogen in soil and surviving harsh conditions. Peat moss is a major component of peatlands and is used as fuel and soil conditioner due to its water-absorbing capabilities. And bryophytes, sporophytes remain attached to gametophytes and rely on them for nutrients, with some species having specialized structures like stomata, cuticles for survival.
So here we have a quick bryophyte summary. We have the mosses, the hornworts, and the liverworts. The mosses have key ecological roles, such as the peatlands, which store 30% of the global soil carbon. The hornworts have long sporophytes, and they have nitrogen-fixing symbiosis, so they're also key to the environment. And then we have liverworts, which have simple, flattened body structures called thalli, and they're important soil formators and nutrient cyclers in acidic environments. And here's our phylogenetic tree. You can see we started with the ancestral green algae, and then we have a branch which has the remaining green algae, which we still see today. And then we move to the bryophytes, which were the first seedless plants, avascular, that has our liverworts, our hornworts, and our mosses. And then as we keep going down the tree, we can see some extinct plants here, but then we get to the lycophytes as we evolve further down, which were our vascular seedless plants, which include our club mosses, our spike mosses, quillworts. And then as we further evolve, we can see a branch between the lycophytes and the pterophytes, which are our horsetails and our ferns. And then further down the pterophyte evolution chain, we have a common ancestor who relates between ferns and horsetails, and then the spermatophytes, which are our seed-containing plants today. And then here's some basic fern facts. They have a diverse variety. Ferns are part of the Polydictaceae family with over 10,000 species of ferns. They range in size from tiny aquatic species like the azolla to 30-foot tall tree like Synthesias. They're epiphytic, which means they grow on other plants instead of in the soil itself. They don't cause harm to these plants, and they actually usually work together in a symbiotic relationship. They're very resilient, Ferns are known as some of the most resilient plants, often being the last source of green as winter falls, and they quickly return as spring starts. Global diversity, ferns are found on every continent except Antarctica. They thrive in a wide range of habitats, from tropical rainforests to temperate woodlands and even arid environments. We believe that the Plectropeltis polypodiades, commonly known as the resurrection fern, is one of the coolest seedless plants on Earth. The resurrection fern is one of the most resilient plants. It's capable of surviving extreme droughts for decades. While most plants can only survive losing up to 10% of their water content before they die, the resurrection fern can lose up to 97% of its water in an extreme drought, and it can still return to its original state when rehydrated, even up to a century after desiccating. How does the resurrection fern do this? It mainly comes down to survival. It has high desiccation tolerance, so when water supply begins declining, the resurrection fern produces specialized proteins and sugars, such as trehalose, which protects its cells from damage from the extreme dehydration. Water absorption, once the fern is re-exposed to moisture, it rapidly absorbs water through its specialized fronds, rehydrating the cells and restoring the green color and original structure, often in less than an hour. Cellular protection. The plant has increased elasticity in its cellular walls, allowing for the cells to tightly pack in and for the fern to fold and shrink when it dehydrates without breaking or becoming damaged. Drought dormancy. This is one of the key factors. In dry conditions, the fern enters a state of metabolic dormancy, where it slows its biological process extremely low, as low as possible, to conserve energy and necessary resources until rehydration is achieved.
So how does this resurrection fern reproduce? It has spores, and they are the source of the reproduction. The spores are held inside the plant by sporangia, which then release spores, and then once they land in a moist spot, they will then continue to grow. So the first assessment question is, which characteristic is common to all non-seed plants? Producing seeds, reproducing via spores, having flowers for reproduction, or lacking photosynthesis. And then the answer is B, all seedless plants reproduce using spores. The second question, what distinguishes ferns from mosses? Ferns have vascular tissue and mosses do not. Mosses reproduce via seeds while ferns do not. Ferns are non-photosynthetic and mosses are photosynthetic, or mosses have roots and ferns do not. And the answer is A, ferns have vascular tissue while mosses are avascular. The last question is, which of the following is an ecological role of non-seed plants? Preventing soil erosion and contributing to nutrient cycling, producing seeds for other plants to grow, replacing vascular plants in dry environments, or eliminating the need for water in reproduction. And the answer is B, seedless plants are key preventers of erosion and are important in producing oxygen, fixing nitrogen, and retaining nutrients. And then there's our works cited. Thank you for watching our presentation on non-seed plants.